Right. I don't really know how to follow that. That was excellent, and I'm about to talk about B2B and how you use websites in B2B, not lifestyle design and making things look as beautiful as that. However, we do our best. B2B is often seen as being something that's quite boring. Our aim is to not make B2B boring, and that starts with creativity. That's thinking about things from a different perspective. It's not doing the same old, the same old, the same old. So for us to get better at doing that, we've got to see what's available to us. Now, my talk and what I want to talk about today is about why we use Webflow to help us for our global clients, and how we can make things more creative, how we can be more reactive to the market, and most of all, it's about supporting our marketeers, the team that employ us, to do what we need to do. So, before I get started, to give you a bit of an insight into who we are and what we do and why we do it, I was just going to play this little video to give you a background. Now hopefully the audio will play, because if it doesn't, it's going to be really boring for a minute and 50 seconds.
Oh, there it does.
Hey! Woohoo!
It's enough.
That's fine. We got it.
That sets the scene. There was a slide in there, or there was a part of the video in there, and it mentioned this. And this is what we do. We're here to support the marketeer, but our principles are to provide innovative, impactful solutions to brand and marketing challenges faced by businesses and organisations across the world. And it's not always about doing the best tech, it's not about doing the best integration, it's about listening to them in terms of what their issues are and how to respond to that. And one of those things that's enabled us to do that is Webflow. And it might be creating digital brochures, it might be creating landing pages, or it might be creating big-scale, multi-language websites. But what I wanted to do is talk you through the principles of that and why we use Webflow for it. Now, in its first instance, if you talk to a marketer and you say, do you want to use Webflow? They'll go, what's Webflow? Particularly here in the UK. If you take it to America, it's a very different story. It's very well marketed there. It's not so well marketed here. So trying to explain to a marketeer, this is the best thing to do. We're going to do this for you, and you're going to be able to do this. They get very excited. Then they take it to their IT teams and they go, no, you're not. I need it on my service. I need to do this. So it's about building trust. It's about saying that this is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it, and this is how it's going to be easy for you. So this is a very simple instance. People start on WordPress, we go, look, don't use WordPress, we can't do what we need to do from a creative perspective, we've got more to do. Let's migrate you into Webflow, or let's at least start you with a landing page, or like I said earlier, a digital brochure, turning their PDFs into something which is more digital. They have a go with it, they get engagement on it, they end up getting more leads, they get more interest on it. That can then lead us into growing out multi-pages on a landing page. Then they start using the CMS and they understand how easy it is to be able to modify the pages on their site. Now we've got the marketeers on side, we haven't got to deal with the IT team. The IT team are being then pressured by the marketing team, and now you're winning the battle. Now you're moving on to your multi-language, your bigger sites, and that's the kind of tactics we use in terms of doing that. A lot of things come into that. It's creativity, it's copywriting, it's motion graphics, all the things that we offer at Proctors come into these things. So, in terms of what I want to talk about is four things really. All marketing support tools need one tool. Okay, design flexibility. We need that. We need to do that as a business, and they need that from us. Come on. Easy to use. We can't make it too complicated. If I'm to go in there and say I've got to do something in, Angular, and that's got to sync it to a Drupal backend, it's all got to be DevOps. They're not interested. So it's got to be easy to use. And then they're looking for performance and scalability. If this starts working, where's my next step? Where am I going with this? And then finally, I don't know where I'm pointing. There you go. SEO capabilities. They're going to get asked targets. They need to hit certain targets. We've got to make it work for them and prove that what we're doing is going to work. So let's just start off with design flexibility. It's twofold here. So okay, because we're working with lots of different brands, we are either given very complicated brands or we're given brands that we create. And we need to be able to follow those brand guidelines, and Webflow will allow us to do that. And it'll allow us to push the boundaries in terms of what we need to do. It could allow us to create a landing page, something like this, where we can bring interactions into it, and we can do a lot more than what they've ever expected in the past. Or it might be that we're creating a brand, we're creating a logo, and we want to actually be able to flex our muscles in terms of what we can achieve. So we might be creating something like this, and we're going, we can create a little ad. It's going to sit on your LinkedIn campaign. How can we do that onto a website? And Webflow, we've got options there. We can start to do it with that. So that's the first thing. It's about being able to keep within the boundaries of what you're being given, but then also execute that and try and push the boundaries a little bit further than they've ever experienced before. The next part is for the marketeer is it easy to use? Now, there we go. Right. There's two parts to this. There's us as a team. We've got 65 people. You've got one person that goes on holiday that's been working on that project. They haven't set it up properly. We're in trouble. So we use, how many people use client-first approach FinSuite? Yeah, okay. I'm preaching to the converted here. The reasons we use that is because we need to be able to set some standards in place. So naming those components properly, making sure that when they are a component, if we want to add something to it, it's nothing too complicated. It's easy for them to go back in. Everything's organised. And when you start to build everything out in an organised manner, you're building templates in a much more effective way. The second part is, once you've built it, once you've got it in that aspect, it's then about, okay, how does the marketeer then start using that? So when you've created everything in the best way possible, it's about showing them how to use components. Right, now you can drag and drop, you can pull this into the page, and brilliant, I can now control my own content. I'm not restricted to this template I've just been given, I can start to do more. If we do it in a way where then we can teach them on how to create different templates and move things around in a different manner, again, we've got them then on side. They're working with us, they're excited by the opportunity. If we can build multiple versions of this out, they can create all the pages that they want to, doing all the things that they want. We've really got them on side now. Now we're in a position of power, and now we're in a place where we've got them all in our hand. So the third point is performance and scalability. You can set out the stalls with getting your website right. So there's your components in the middle. That's your core of your website. But then, how many people are going to come and visit that site? How many people then are going to need to expand the capabilities, increase the CDN wattage, being able to do that? That's what Webflow is great for. We don't have to get involved with it. We haven't got to talk to the technicalities of it. Talk to Webflow, enterprise, here we go. And we've elevated them up, and it's a one-stop solution as well. The IT teams are happy that there's security headers in place and that kind of thing. So security and getting that set up. You take the same principle and you put that into WordPress. You've got plug-in components that aren't kept up to speed in terms of security. One of them breaks, the whole website's gone down. We're in a right pickle. So thinking about how you set your site up and being able to be confident with them that you can deliver all the solutions that they're looking for, but with a security base in mind, all the components you need and all the integrations you need. Being able to pull that in, but having your center point of Webflow sitting in the middle, it's just, that's great. You're not reliant upon anything, you're not beholden, you're not having to worry about the patches and the fixes. So again, that starts to bring the marketer, the IT teams on board and thinking, great, I've got a solution I can work with here. So, 3 things to think about: amending. Can we amend the site? Can we get it updated? Can they do it? Can they extend the site beyond its capabilities originally? Can they then go back, upgrade it based on the statistics that you're going back with? Yes, you can, great. You can do all that yourself and we can publish it. So it's just having that ecosystem and making everything nice and easy for them. So the last one's around SEO capabilities. The marketeer is often given like pretty hefty ROI targets. They're told, if I'm going to give you the budget to be able to create a landing page, I want this amount of conversions coming through. So for us to sit there, we've got to be able to put the technicalities in place, show them how to alt tag things, show them how to get the most out of it. Once we know that's working, that's converted, we've got, again, quite a happy marketing team on our side. So there are so many aspects to this that we need to get right at the core, and that's from whether that's from an SEO side of things, getting the performance right at desktop all the way through to mobile. That's what we see Webflow giving us the opportunity to do without having to heavily invest in front-end development or DevOps to be able to, manage the capabilities of the site. So, and in terms of where the site sits, we're always thinking about, okay, how do we get this out into the universe? How are we able to market this in a way, not just about the Webflow side of things, it's about the other ecosystems that fit around it. And that, for me, is where Webflow allows us to do that without too much complexity. Because we can bring the cost rate down on developing this quite quickly, it allows the marketing teams to then have further spending, whether that's PPC or other aspects of that. So when you're thinking about your site, when you're thinking about that enterprise level, think of the marketeer. You get those guys inside, you'll get everyone on side, and the world becomes your oyster then in terms of being able to build things up for global at an enterprise level.